Thank you, Mr. Bergeau. So now our two project leaders, Alberto Troccoli and Robert Vautard, will give their own introduction to the workshop.
Okay, thank you very much, Laurent. I'm trying to access the presentation. So,
it's a PDF.
Yes. Should open. Great. So, thank you very much, everybody, for being here. It's a pleasure to see so many of you at this symposium. We worked quite a lot with Robert and all the teams of the two projects to put this symposium together, and I hope you will enjoy it. So now what we want to do between Robert and I, we want to give you a bit of motivation why we are talking about this services for energy and climate. The next talk from Jean-Noël will discuss the overarching umbrella of a C3S. Here we want to focus more on the specifics of the climate and energy. And I want to give you a little bit of motivation why we want to discuss the two together, so the energy and meteorology. So many of you will have seen this slide many times. This is a kind of motivation why we're doing this, why you should be interested, although if you are here, you're probably already interested, so I should skip this. But instead, I'll waste 30 seconds and I go through quickly. And so what we see here is that we have interactions between meteorology and energy happening at many time scales. This is to show you how close the relationship between these two fields are. And while the relationship between the two fields in the shorter time scales on your left is relatively mature, the one on the right is much less so. And this is what we are focusing in this meeting. So this is the C3S, the climate area. By climate, we basically mean looking at a long period, historical period of 30 or 40 years to understand how the past has behaved. And then for the future, in terms of predictions, we mean seasonal forecasts, so looking 1 or 2, 3 months ahead, or even longer to projections. So out to 100-year timescales. And why is it important, this, for the energy sector? It's not just the climate community that says that this is important. This is important because the energy obviously is already impacted by climate events and important ones, and more so. And here I just want to show you two examples, which is really a very, very small view of what is really the problem. And welcome Carlo from Eurostar after mine. So it's it's good to see that they're working again. And so this is a case that happened far away from here, but still it shows that all sectors of energy, this is an impact on coal mining. So you would wonder why, coal normally, you think it's something that works all the time, you get electricity done. And yet, there are two seasons, two summers, one after the other in Australia, where this is from, where La Nina was so strong that basically halted the operations at this coal mine. Another case closer to home, and you're very familiar with this. This is 2003 here, but again, there are other heat waves. The 2003 is, I guess, more documented than others in a way, but and we have some figures also for how much the damage and impact was in terms of financial cost, and that is 330 million according to my colleague Laurent here on the front row. So this is why the energy is now taking attention of what happens to the climate and why they want to have better information to deal with all these issues. And as I said, this is just scratching the surface from an energy point of view. So now I would like to leave the floor to Robert, who will enlighten you with the science behind this and tell you also what's going to happen in the symposium. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Alberto. Just to give you a few more examples, maybe. Yeah. For instance, one of the things we are all worried about is the water resource for ourselves, but also for the energy. And there's been very enlightening studies, not from us, but from colleagues of us, showing how climate change actually could alter the availability of the water resource for energy in the future, with pretty big numbers in terms of percentage in some regions, increase in other regions. But as you see in this map, Europe is very much impacted by climate change. Another sector or another activity, which is very important, is of course thermoelectric power production, and the need for thermoelectric power production to be cooled by water. So in most of the time from rivers, sometimes from the ocean, but where the rise of temperatures in the future would certainly alter the capacity of the power producers to follow the current regulations, actually, for the river temperatures. So that's one of the issues that are also important. Also, studies that we've done recently, and thanks to another EU project, also we worked together with this project, was to try to assess in a kind of pan-energy or pan-electricity production the impacts of climate change for different warming targets. Here I show the 3 degree, but we also did this for 2 degree and for 1.5 degree. So basically you have all the countries on the axis, and the power change taking into account 4 types of production: wind power, solar PV, hydro, and thermoelectric. And the impacts are accumulated and weighted by the mix, the share in the mix. And in that case, we also tested different scenarios of renewable. The first one is the current situation today. The second one is 60% renewables, and another one is 80% renewables. And since the thermoelectric is leading the impact, actually, the more we put renewables, it made me a bit surprising, but the more we put renewables, the less we are impacted on average on climate timescale by climate change. So that's one of the things, but of course there are other problems like variabilities that need to be taken into account. Finally, why a symposium? So this has been said. We are finishing our 2 contracts, I think we should say, not projects. Thanks. With the European Center, and then we want to show you our results, of course. And then, of course, we want also to look in the future and see what could be, maybe for the account of Copernicus, an operational service. And please, you will be asked questions along these 2 days to see what if we are going in the right direction or not. So the agenda. We are at the top of this sheet here, and the idea was to first show the results of our project this afternoon as a kind of broad view of what we have produced, with some focus on the demonstrators, because these are really both for ECEM and for Clean for Energy, new tools that we have been trying to establish. And then we have a question and answer session. We have poster session after with a reception. I think it's in the room just there. And so today we are the project people are, sorry, the contract people are speaking. And then tomorrow the floor will be open for more. In the morning, what we wanted is to show case studies, application case studies, how we can apply what we have produced to real concrete cases, and also to give a broader view into the future by inviting a number of people from industry to present their perspective to the future of potential service and how the industry or the consultancies can use this information for their business. So this is really the point of the end of the tomorrow morning. And then please don't go away at lunch, because the lunch will be good first, but also because there will be a session, an interactive session in another room where you can first discuss with the experts. So there will be informal talks, but also you can try out the demonstrator yourself, and in some cases apply to your case, etc., etc. So, and we will wrap up. So we all hope that you will enjoy the meeting, and I would like to not forget to thank all my colleagues that have worked on preparing this meeting. So I hope not to forget anyone, but there was a nice team. So Leslie, Penny, who is in the audience somewhere, yeah, in the back. Nadako, who is taking some pictures also sometime. And Sonia Firion, working with me as a project manager, contract manager. And then also I want to thank the ministry and Pascal Ebner also, who was the contact at the ministry for setting up this. So Pascal is away there. So thank you all. I hope I didn't miss anyone. No? Okay, very good. Thanks.